Good morning, Texoma. I'm Ashley Fitzwater. Thanks for joining us. This morning, we are taking an inside look at Helping Hands and Hearts. It is a big nonprofit organization here in Texoma that is really reaching out and touching the lives of so many families. Joining me now, Dan and Lisa Schrader. They are the co-founders. I want to jump right into this and hear more about the passion and really what it is that you do, every single day.
It's basically been a dream and a passion of both of ours. We opened our doors on October 17th of 2009, and our mission is that we give help and hope to families and individuals in crisis and in need, in a nutshell. The way that we do that, because that's what everybody always wants to know, is that we give mostly clothes and shoes to families, individuals, whether it's children or grown-ups, and we make sure that if we have what they need, the right size and the right item, then that's what they get for free.
A lot of people don't realize that out of the three basic needs, food, clothing, and shelter, two of those are pretty readily available. The food pantry takes care of the people that are hungry. They can go get something to eat or something out of the pantry, or a lot of churches will handle that type of ministry. The homeless shelter, the Faith Mission, they handle the population that doesn't have a place to live. But where do people go to get clothes? And we cater to the people who might be homeless, they might be transitioning from one state of life to another. That's kind of where we found our niche.
You have a location, a site in Wichita Falls where families can come in, correct? Do they come to you or do you go to them? How does that work?
We have an office/shop, and it is a resale shop. That's how we actually make our budget to stay open so that we can help families. It's on Brook Avenue between 7th and 8th Street, and anyone can come for client assistance or to shop or to leave donations for us whenever we're open, and we're open Tuesday through Saturday. Tuesdays are 10 to 5, Saturdays we're open till 4.
We kind of feel that we fill secondary need with our store in that not only do we give free things to the people who are in need, but we also provide low-cost items for people that are willing to pay for the things that they need but don't have a lot of money.
I talked to Wichita Falls ISD this week, and I got information from them that currently, as we are now starting back the school year again, 64% of the students in Wichita Falls ISD are living at or below the poverty level. They're considered economically disadvantaged. And so if 64% of those families are considered economically disadvantaged, then I know I was a single mom for a long time, and I resale shopped for my kids just because I couldn't afford to go to the mall to buy their school clothes. So Dan's right, that's secondary for us, is that we provide low-cost clothing and household items for families who have a little money to spend, just not a lot.
What is the best part about this ministry for you both?
The best part is we do have those who come back, and when we put our heart out there for them, when we're able to see a little bit of change in them, or when we're able to see over time that an individual who is in extreme crisis and spends their days probably not happy, not smiling, feeling unimportant, feeling like they just don't know if things are going to get better, and over time we sometimes begin to see that they come in and they're a little happier, and they feel welcome, and they feel like things are going to get better. And so for us to get a little glimpse of the fact that maybe what we did and what all those other nonprofits out there did to help them through all the programs that all of the nonprofits in town give, we're just a very small part of that. But all of these people that are receiving assistance through programs and assistance, it really is making a difference in their lives, because as a whole, all of that assistance is helping them to get better, helping them to recover from their crisis, helping them to feel like they're going to be okay and they're going to make it.
I think your mission statement says it so well, is what that hope, maybe that hope to have them keep going and keep trying, even if they're in a tough time in their lives.
Right, and when Lisa was developing this in her head and trying to decide what to name the organization, after a lot of thought and prayer, she decided that Helping Hands and Hearts was the best fit. And for me, it's taken me a little while to realize, but it is a dual mission. We are helping hands in that we give things physically to people that need them, and we can help in that way, but it's also helping hearts in that we encourage people, we talk to them, we treat them like anybody should be treated, not not any better or any worse than anybody else.
There are so many people that we help, so many of our clients. We've begun to pay very close attention to their stories and to what's gotten them in their bad situation. And we've identified some of the crises that are causing these families to have hard times. And when you begin to learn their stories, you can't help but begin to have some bit of care and concern for them. And so we really do. When people come in for assistance from us, we welcome them. We smile real big. We say, "How are you doing today?" And when they feel comfortable enough to tell us a little bit about them or about their stories, we try really hard to, like Dan said, we give them encouragement. We suggest maybe you could go here to get assistance. Maybe you need to try some counseling. I have even gone so far when I've identified and gotten very close to some of these clients, I've gone so far as to say, you need a better life. You're worthy of a better life, and you have got to get it together. And sometimes it's almost like, I feel like some of these clients have burned a lot of bridges. They've lost friends and they've lost family members. They've just made some decisions that were not good decisions, and they've made poor choices. And so they don't have a lot of people on their side anymore. And we try not to be someone who's judging them. We just try to be maybe that one person who they feel like really cares and is going to encourage them to do better in whatever way they need to begin to take, they need to begin to take steps to better their lives. And we kind of feel like if we care about them, maybe they'll feel some sense of obligation for themselves to begin to take steps to get better.
Absolutely, and I think it's that vision and that heart that Lisa, of course, has, and Dan as well. Turning now to a second part of Helping Hands and Heart. We're going to tell you all about that and an event that's coming up next month. It's an exciting event, a ball here in Wichita Falls, a masquerade ball. We're going to tell you all about it. Stick around. We have so much more to get to after this. Welcome back to Inside Texoma. We are talking about Helping Hands and Hearts in Wichita Falls, a nonprofit retail shop. We want to jump more into who exactly it is that you help. How were you able to hear about those families and learn about their needs?
Well, what we first did when we opened, Ashley, we knew that we needed to find out, how do you find those people that are in need? So what we did was we reached out to all those other nonprofits that are already in the lives of these people that are in need, and help them and meet their needs in other ways. So we called and spoke to First Step, Faith Mission, Patsy's House and Rainbow House, Christian Women's Job Corps, and since then we've been in conversation with many of the other nonprofits. We get referrals from WIC, we get referrals from the school districts. A lot of the churches know about us, and the really cool thing about the churches is it's typically just church members that come in our store, and they tell me about how they're involved in their church, and they love whenever the church gets together and helps people, whether it's food, clothes, household items. And we tell anybody and everybody, remember who we are, remember that we help families in crisis, and when and if you hear of a family or an individual who needs help, send them to us. And so a lot of times we do get phone calls because another nonprofit has heard about us, or we've talked with them, and they know that we can help with a separate need that a family in crisis may have. So the people that we help are in any of a number of situations in life. A lot of times we have grown-ups who come to us who they haven't had a job for a while, so they definitely don't have money in the bank, but they have an interview. But they have to have interview clothes, and they can't afford it. And so we're able to go sort through and find whether it's a suit or just a nice outfit that they can wear on their interview. Yeah. And then if they get the job, they need clothes to work in, but they don't have a paycheck yet. And so we're able to start them off with some work clothes.
It's amazing how many different elements there really are. Could it be even if maybe there was a fire or an accident or a loved one died and they fell in hard times?
Absolutely.
We've been in contact with the Red Cross, and they're aware of us, and they use us as a referral as well. So if there is a fire, a natural disaster, or something like that, the Red Cross has our name and number, and they can send people to us as well.
Definitely something to keep in mind. Maybe there's a family in your neighborhood, or like you mentioned, a family at your church. You would just encourage the community member to contact you themselves, or just send the family directly to the retail shop.
We're so anxious to help anyone who needs help that whether you called me one day and said, look, Lisa, I've got a friend that has a little girl, she's growing, and my friend just doesn't have a job right now. This little girl really needs some clothes. Can you help her? Sometimes our clients want to remain anonymous. I can imagine how hard it would be to need so much help that I would have to reach out for that help. If you came to me and said, I have a friend that needs help, typically we'll work with you. But we take anybody. Literally, we have plenty who come in off the street and just say, I'm in crisis. Can you help me? And we take an application from anybody that wants to apply, and we very rarely turn anyone down. We just want to know their story, what's happened, what are your needs, and we try to meet some of those needs if we have what the family needs.
It's amazing what you really do every single day, and all the lives I know that you've already touched. Now, we had mentioned earlier how they are taking their helping hands and turning it into so much more by providing even classes to take it beyond just the need of the basics.
There's an old saying, I'm sure most people have heard it, that if you give a man a fish, you can feed him for a day. If you teach him to fish, you can feed him for life. And so we've taken the step of giving people fish. Now we want to teach them to fish. We want to teach them to better their lives and to do things to help themselves. And so we have been talking to our board of directors and discussing how we can make that happen. And we decided that if we start offering classes in a variety of subjects, then that will be able to help our clients along even further.
And those classes would be addressing the crises that we see in our clients every day. The biggest one that we see, and I'm real honest about it, is addiction. It's all kind of addictions, and there are people who are suffering today from addiction, but there are also people who are suffering in their life because they once had an addiction and now they're having a hard time getting through recovering from it.
Sure.
So recovering from addiction would probably be our biggest class. And when I say class, it's not a class to teach, stats and all the fierce stuff. We really just want to be able to get people together in a group and talk with them about what can you do to pull yourself up out of the situation that you're in. We'd love to get some professionals in, but we'd also love just to get some people who are willing to counsel or share their own experiences that will be inspiration for those that are suffering from these crises to recover. As I mentioned, addiction is the big one, but another one is financial issues and problems, and how do I handle my finances, and how, when I get my check on the 1st, how do I make it last until the end of the month? So we'd love to have a class to teach people how to balance a budget.
Yeah.
I'd love to have a simple class to teach people how to balance their checkbook, but there's a lot of people who don't even have a bank account. And so I'd love just to teach people, how do you make that little check that you get last all month long?
And that's something I know a lot of Texoma would benefit from. We talk about that a lot, and budgeting, but it's such an important thing and such a great thing whenever families learn it. I know we've had financial guests on here a lot.
Sure.
So what a neat thing to be able to share and, to teach people about and really change their lives. So I know another one was, of course, parenting, and I know the next step, I'm sure, is finding more space to make all of this happen.
Absolutely.
Keep us up to date on the process as it comes along.
We'll do that.
And we are going to tell you all about volunteering, and like we mentioned earlier, much more on the masquerade ball. But first, we need another quick break, so stay with us. Much more after this.